Hamster Playground is a charmingly and surprisingly competitive little game that blends adorable aesthetics with light strategy and racing mechanics. At its core, it's a pet sim where players care for a group of customizable hamsters, but the real fun lies in the various minigames, especially the obstacle course races. These are delightfully animated and surprisingly tense, turning what looks like a cozy experience into a surprisingly fast-paced test of reflexes and timing. The game's visuals are polished and vibrant, giving each hamster a distinct personality without needing complex narrative. Where Hamster Playground shines is in its attention to detail. From grooming and feeding to building out elaborate hamster habitats, the game lets players engage deeply with their furry companions. The obstacle courses and puzzle-like mechanics evolve with each level, offering just enough challenge to keep things engaging for both kids and adults. Multiplayer options make it easy to compete with friends or family, adding a party game vibe that doesn't wear out its welcome too quickly. However, the game does suffer from some repetitiveness, particularly if played for long stretches. While the variety of tasks and minigames is decent, there's a noticeable lack of progression depth once all the hamsters and track pieces have been unlocked. Although, the game has had a steady amount of DLC from minigames to costumes to mix things up a bit. Still, Hamster Playground isn't trying to be a long-haul experience. It's a delightful snack of a game that does exactly what it promises: deliver cuteness, chaos, and a lot of squeaky fun. I give Hamster Playground a 5 out of 10. Who's Your Daddy is an intentionally absurd, darkly comedic multiplayer game that pits a clueless parent against a determined baby in a bizarre battle of survival. The goal is for the baby to get into as much dangerous mischief as possible. For the parent, it's to keep the baby safe, by any ridiculous means necessary. The concept is as chaotic as it sounds, and that's where much of the game's charm lies. Whether you're the baby climbing into the oven, or the dad desperately trying to block every hazard in the house, the slapstick gameplay and physics-driven antics result in constant hilarity. The game thrives in its unpredictability. With over-the-top interactions, ragdoll physics, and a growing selection of household items that can be repurposed into tools of chaos or safety, Who's Your Daddy invites players to improvise and experiment. As updates have added more features like new rooms, items, and character skins, the game has developed more depth, encouraging strategic thinking beneath the surface-level silliness. It's best enjoyed in short bursts or with friends, where the shared laughter can elevate the most ridiculous moments into something memorable. That said, Who's Your Daddy is not for everyone. Its humor leans heavily into the morbid and absurd, and the novelty can wear thin for players looking for structured objectives or long-term progression. Bugs and janky animations, while often part of the fun, can occasionally break the flow or frustrate. Still, for those who embrace chaos and enjoy offbeat multiplayer experiences, Who's Your Daddy offers a uniquely unhinged sandbox that's hard to forget, even if you probably shouldn't be laughing at half of what happens. I give Who's Your Daddy a 5.5 out of 10. If you're looking for a game that's so absurd it might make you laugh just out of sheer disbelief, Poopy Time might scratch that itch. The game drops you in a small rectangular map where you run around collecting food to fill up a meter. Once it's full, you poop. The goal is simple: poop as much as you can before the guards catch you or someone else's poop slows you down. The whole premise is as dumb as it sounds, but in a way, it's utterly amusing in its sheer ridiculousness. However, despite the humor, the game feels incredibly basic, almost like a cheap mobile app. You're pitted against bots, and there's not much depth beyond collecting food and avoiding guards. The poop mechanic is the main source of the game's zany appeal, but it doesn't have enough substance to make it engaging for long. The lack of character variety, limited levels, and the absence of multiplayer really hold the game back. If you're playing solo, you'll quickly realize that while it's fun for a few minutes, it doesn't offer much replay value. That said, Poopy Time does have potential. With more characters, additional levels, and a multiplayer mode to add some chaotic fun with friends, this game could elevate its ridiculous concept into something much more entertaining. As it stands, it's a quirky one-note game that's good for a laugh, but ultimately feels like a missed opportunity. The foundation is there, but it needs a lot more zaniness and player interaction to truly shine. I give Poopy Time a 3.5 out of 10.